Thanks, and I would like to call Stefano Marini, the CEO of San Pellegrino.
Mentre siamo stati a casa, ci siamo tutti improvvisati chef e ci siamo anche divertiti. Ma la verità è che ci siete mancati. I saluti, la tavola, la sorpresa, i sorrisi, gli assaggi, i brindisi, i like, condividere. E ora, quando vediamo che siete aperti, al solo pensiero che siete di nuovo pronti a stupirci, il nostro cuore si riempie di gioia. San Pellegrino si impegna a supportare la ristorazione italiana, perché il desiderio di stare insieme è più forte che mai. Support Restaurants, unisciti al movimento.
So we've seen this video on support of restaurants, Italian restaurants. Good morning, everybody. So after talking so much about wine, it's time to talk about water. Yes, I've been talking a lot, so I need to take a sip now. So I talked about the summit being focused on food and wine. You are a player in catering. From the video, we could appreciate your strong relationship with HoReCa. Yes, well, HoReCa is not a channel of sales. It is a hero channel, our preferred channel that represents San Pellegrino and Acquapanna. San Pellegrino was founded in 1899, and it appeared first in restaurants in Italy and abroad. So there is a very strong connection that goes beyond turnover and sales. It is a channel that gives us visibility. So when the HoReCa went into lockdown, it wasn't only a damage for turnover, it was a damage for brand visibility and awareness. It is a brand that cannot be seen. Of course, we're present in other channels, but we couldn't be seen in our preferred channel. You mentioned your brand has over 100 years of history, and you say that Nestlé didn't bring it to the HoReCa. It was intuitions of those who came before you. One word was quite different. Yes, that's true. It is something we can read in the history books. All the newcomers to the company read the history of San Pellegrino, and when they discovered at the beginning of the 20th century, they began being exported to France, Switzerland, etc., and it became the water of fine dining. So the managers in the past basically honed this position, and in the past 20-25 years we invested a lot on the future of catering. The initiative with chefs is proof of that, and we did that through partnerships with 50 Best, which is the reference for word catering. So very targeted partnerships, so that the presence of San Pellegrino is extremely connected with a word that was so important, has been so important for us in the past years. So the video you've seen, it is ad campaign that we pulled out in 2020 over the course of a few weeks. So after lockdown, we had two choices, as other HoReCa companies did: either cut on investments, so really cut the losses, or invest and show your presence, your support to a word that has been so important for the brand. So we went for the second option, and that was a good thing because it is really paying us back. So this hashtag support restaurants is the final point of a program that underlined the importance, the support of recovery for restaurants in terms of economy as well. So we donated free products for the reopening, and then we launched this communication campaign which put the restaurants at the core. So it's like it was like saying, let's go back to the restaurant. We became chefs in our homes, but the world of catering is very complex. It's not only about food. So as soon as we could go out, the bounce back was very evident. I am lucky enough to have an observatory on different countries because we export 2/3 of our production. So 2/3 of our turnovers comes from abroad. The other third comes from Italy. So the countries which reopened before us, so Australia and Israel, already gave us the sense of a quick recovery. So there is this willingness to be together, but we know that things are different now. So there are some structural elements that prompt us to appreciate this different sensitivity. So not all restaurants started in the same way. We've seen that people do not go out as often, so they stay cautious, yes. But when they go out, of course, it's also about money as well. But when they go out, they want to feel safe, and they want to leave a valuable experience. So I go out less, but I want to enjoy the experience. So there is a selection of the restaurant, the bar. They carefully select the establishment, and then they put great trust in the quality and in the brands. So they have to be reliable, credible brands. So they choose restaurants in different, does it depend on different brackets? It can be either premium or high street. You can go to a pizza place or to a Michelin-starred restaurant. But what we've seen is that consumers prefer a differentiating experience. So the average restaurant really took the strongest hit. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. What about digital? Of course, you're a multinational company, so of course you continued investing on digital. But thinking about the HoReCa channel, how did they behave? There's a lot of talk about delivery. I think things change differently. I think we have guests who are better placed to answer to your question. But we've noticed that the word of digital, so delivery or takeaway, has been crucial during lockdowns, and now it has become part of the overall offer. Of course, it cannot support a business alone, but as somebody mentioned, it allowed to capture the customer in a more intimate way. So regardless of the turnover or of a restaurant or of a bar, from delivery or takeaway, there is an aspect of connection with the consumers. So luring them in or offering personal experiences. So from being passive, restaurants now have leverage of engagement, so they know that part of the customers can be reached through messages. Yes, this is a legacy of the pandemic, which of course caused many damages and many opportunities as well. Somebody mentioned that during the pandemic, strongest brands started strong. Is this the case for water as well? Yes, it is true. It is true in the world of an alcoholic beverage, soft drinks and water, both in HoReCa and supermarkets. So brands reassure customers in terms of quality, and it's also a shortcut for customers because customers rely on the values demonstrated by the brands. Another important aspect is how much these brands are perceived to be positive for the society. So a brand is not only quality, a brand also has values expressed by its behaviors. So many brands, many companies took decisions during the difficult moments to send a message. We have this concept of force for good. We want to be a positive force in society. So when we talk about sustainability, we, of course, think about environmental sustainability, but this goes hand in hand with social sustainability, and economic sustainability is a consequence. So the goodwill of the brand reinforces the experience in the restaurant. Of course, it is a part of the overall offer and the point of consumption. So this experience is service, is quality, is preparation, food, brand indicators, so be they wine, beer, or water, and they all send a message to the customer about the quality of the point of consumption. How many restaurants and hotels do you serve in the world? It's a very difficult question. We do not have such data. I would say several millions. Several dozen millions, I think. We do not have direct. We have supply chain, and we work through wholesalers. So we have data regarding each country. But we want to be a point of reference, and we want to reassure our partners. After the pandemic, we received a great feedback from the customers of our partners. They felt we were close to them. So Support Restaurant, this initiative is continuing. We have here this 2 bottles in limited edition for San Pellegrino and Panna. We use digital, and the bottles have a QR code on the label. So at a restaurant, the customer can play with its phone, take a picture on the star or on the lily, and the goal is tell me which restaurant you're at, and tell us about your moment of conviviality. It's called Unforget Table. So we want to underline the concept of table and restaurants. So big brands that want to be a force for good should really put their assets, their strength at service of the whole community to bring benefits to the channel. Where is San Pellegrino headed? So you're a leader in water. These brands are getting stronger. They could stretch the brands to other categories as well. What is your goal? Of course, you just do not grow for the sake of your name. You have to keep on investing. You have to invest in the medium term. And we want to invest in innovation and sustainability. For innovation, for the first time, 3 years ago, we touched the San Pellegrino water, adding a drop of flavor, and we called it San Pellegrino Essenza, so flavored water, which was launched in the United States, and it reached the minimum threshold of $100 million in turnover, so it was quite a relevant launch. So we're going in the direction of plus water. Of course, mineral water will be very important, especially in Italy and Europe, but a plus water to meet the need for health of the consumers is going to be increasingly important. And our product for sustainability is to increase our factory, and we're calling it a flagship factory. So we're adding 2 lines. So, of course, we expect San Pellegrino to grow, and we would like to have this factory, which is 100% sustainable when it comes to transportation and bottling, and in the ability of generating value for the valley we are located in. Thank you very much. That was very interesting, and congratulations for all of your achievements. Thank you and have a nice day.